Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, please, we can hear you.
All right, thank you. Good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm seeing about 8 participants, but it's only one voice that is responding. So I don't know whether it's a replication of the same person appearing as 8, or whether the rest cannot hear me.
Oh, no, we are here.
Hey, Master, you are still in bed. Please wake up. You are still in bed. Please wake up, okay? Open your eyes. Good morning once again.
Good morning.
All right. So I believe you're all doing very well.
Yes, please, we are fine. Hope you are too.
Yes, please. God's grace, I'm also doing very well. Thank you. So this is a new weekend. And honestly, when it's Saturday morning, people find it very difficult because we've had a stressful week. But unfortunately for we, the ladies, when it is weekend, that is when the actual work has started. Sarah, am I right?
Yes, so you are right.
So when it's weekend, ladies end up waking up early and then sleeping very late. When motherhood sets in, when wifehood sets in, and family issues. But we just have to manage all.
Okay.
And it becomes more difficult if we just have to. All right, so we thank God for today, and then I welcome you once again to today's session. I think we are in the 5th week now, so soon. I'm just seeing as yesterday that we started, but we're already in the 5th week. And I think we have made good use of the time that has passed. So today we will continue. And as we said, I think we started with some practicals, especially concerning the configuration. And we have something small to finish over there. Then we look at the theory aspect, or we continue with the theory aspect as well. So without taking much time, one of the gentlemen should pray with us so we can continue. The gentleman, please, one of you should pray with us to start the class. Do I have some gentlemen there?
Madam, I'm praying.
Oh, okay.
Shall we pray? Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for the gift of life. We thank you for counting us worthy to be alive today. Lord, we commit this session into your hands. We commit our lecturer. We commit every one of us into your hands. We pray for wisdom and utterance for our lecturer. And we pray for understanding for every student here. We pray that, oh God, throughout this session, let your will be established in Jesus' name. Amen.
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 Thank you. Justice, if you're a student and you are part of us, then please write down your full name together with your ID. If you are a student and you are part of us, then your full name and your student ID. Otherwise, we will assume you are not part of us. So we'll have to take you off the page. All right. Okay, so please, are we by our computers? Or we are using our phones? I've shared my screen. Is it visible?
Yes, your screen
Yes,
is visible.
please. It's visible.
All right, thank you. Adams, if you are with us, then please, we need your full name and your ID. Put it down. Log in with your full name and then your ID, Adams, and Justice. Justice, can you hear me?
Hello, yes, hello,
Uh-huh.
yes,
Yes.
ma'am. Yeah, I'll try
Yes,
to
so
do
please,
that,
do it for, but last week, or is it last 2 weeks, I said the same thing and you didn't do. I don't know you were the one. I said it severally and then it wasn't changed. So I want to see it change now, please. Adams,
ma'am.
you do the same thing. Okay. So today we are looking at the relationship. In last week, by the grace of God, we had a interesting face-to-face class where we were able to demonstrate some things practically. In some cases, it is good when you are demonstrating the thing on a board and everyone can see and reading an abstract. Justice, I am still waiting.
Yeah, madam, a moment.
Okay. All right. So we'll have a better understanding of entity relationship whenever we are talking about entity relationship now. All right. So what are we looking at today? Today we'll be looking at the main characteristics of an entity relationship component and then how relationship between entities are defined. We'll also look at the entity relationship diagram, that is the ERD, the components that are used in creating this ERD, and then how they affect database design and implementation. Then we'll look at the real world database design. Or what the real world database design requires. So when we say entity relationship model, now we know what entities are, and we know what relationships are, and we know what pushes us to draw relationships between or among entities, and we know how to determine those relationships. So entity relationship is the basis of an entity relationship diagram is a conceptual database which is viewed by the end user or as viewed by the end user. Please let me mention this. I've updated the LMS with additional course materials. I've updated the LMS with additional course materials. So, all right. So looking at the database, the main components of database, then we need what? The first one is the entity. The second one is the attributes within the entities. And then we have the relationship. So these are the main components of a database. The main components of a database: entities, attributes, and then the relationships. Now, when we take attributes, we have required attributes, and then we have optional attributes. So we have created a student table, or we pick an entity that is student. This student will have several attributes that we can generate or we can have. Some of them will be required, that is mandatory, and others will be optional. So for instance, with students, ID, first name and last name will always be required. Maybe if we need a date of birth for some activity, then date of birth will be required. Contact number will be required. Email address will be required. But when we take some attributes like other names, or which we sometimes call the middle name may be optional. So meaning we don't really need it. If it is there, fine. If it is not there, there's no problem. So that is it. Now, how do we define these attributes? In our previous class, we looked at defining the entities and their relationship using the Shen notation, the crow's foot, and then the UML class diagram. That was just the entities. In modeling, you can also define your entities together with the attributes. So with the assignment that I gave, I saw some of you doing that, which was very good. Just that the concepts, for some of you, the concepts were wrong. So based on what you have done, now that you are learning it, it will help you to go and better what you have done, go and update what you have done. Justice, I am still waiting. Is it that you don't know how to do it, or you just don't want to do it? You may have to log out and then come in again, then you change it. If you can't change it right from here, then log out. Then as you are coming in, then you change it. If you're not a student too, you let us know so that we stop bothering you. Mr. Justice.
Hello. Hello, ma. I think I've done it now.
Yes.
I have
Yes.
done it. Have you seen, please?
You saw you've done it, but it's still not showing. We are only seeing Justice.
Okay. Okay. Please let me know now.
All right. Okay. So now this is the entity, and then you can indicate all your attributes. So this is the Shen model. If we are using the Shen model, then this is how we do it. So you are using the oval for all the attributes, and then they link to the entity. I saw that some of you were linking it together. So like when they have the ID, then they trace another line, and then they add the next one, they trace another line. No. So this is how we do it. And then when it comes to the crow's foot model too, the entity name is at the top, shaded. Then you have all your attributes under it. Please, is my screen showing?
Yes, please, it is.
All right, that's good. All right, so that is it. Then, still on attributes. So we have, I think there's something, okay. Let us first look at this. Talking about attributes, our attributes fall within a domain. And we say the domain is a set of possible values for a given attribute. I think that one was mentioned last week when we met. A set of a given values. A set of a given values. So for instance, I think I use an example that if we are working with undergraduate school, and an attribute known as level. With level, we are given a set of given values. So that is from level 100 to 400, 100, 200, 300, 400. So these are what? The set of given values. So that is the domain of our data within that attribute. We don't go beyond that. So if we are validating, we can validate that no data outside this domain should be accepted into the database. I believe we understand. Then we also have identifiers, one or more attributes that uniquely identify each entity instances. All right, so now let's move on to the next. Okay. So if we are talking about composite identifier, then we say we have a primary key composed of more than one attribute. Last week we looked at the composite key, a composite key. And you know, when we say identify, just like a name or something that is identifying something. So now if we are saying we have composite key, which is a primary key, and we are giving it an identifier, that's a name to identify it. So composite identifier, primary key composed of more than one attribute. Then the composite attributes that can be subdivided to yield additional attributes. So we have multiple attributes put together and we can subdivide them. Let's say you are generating a relation and then the name. So we have the student's relation. Then we say name. When we take name or student's name here becomes a composite attribute because we can subdivide it into surname, first name, and then other names. When we say take something like address, an address becomes a composite attribute because we can subdivide it. So that we'll have the street and we have the, how do you call it? The code, we have the street, we can have the city and even the country. So if you just put in address, then I write my address, P.O. Box 123, Adenta, Accra, Ghana. I have put in so many information that can be subdivided into individual attributes. So P.O. Box 123 can form another attribute, that is the code. Adenta for the city, Accra, or Adenta for whatever, Accra for the city, and then Ghana for the country or whatever. And so sometimes we have to be very careful when we are creating our attributes so that we don't end up providing composite attributes.
Hello, ma.
Yes.
Hello. Is it okay now?
Yes, it has worked now.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Thank you. Unless Saki, I don't have your ID. Nyakun Andrews, you all just joined. Please add your IDs to it. Alex and Andrews, as your freedom, add your student IDs. All right. And then we have simple attributes. These are the attributes that we cannot divide any longer. Only a single value. So any example on that? A single value. All right. So when we take an attribute like an ID, your ID is a single value. We can't subdivide the value. We can values or multi-valued attributes. So if I ask for your date of birth, it is one value because it has the year, it has the month, and then it has the day. So these are some of the techniques or characteristics of attributes that we need to know. So if we are drawing our model, and then it happens that we have some attributes that are multi-valued, then how do we indicate them? How do we indicate them? So when we come here looking at the same notation, for the example that we have here, you can see that we have the car as our entity. We have the and then we have, so these ones are single attributes. And then when we come here, we have the multi-valued attributes and then the composite attributes. So that is how you have to indicate it. So if the attribute that you have on that entity is a composite or is a multi-valued, then you know how to indicate all of them. All right. Then we also have something on derived attributes. So attributes whose value is calculated from other attributes. An attribute which value is calculated from other attributes. So we have created a billing table. And this billing table has the attributes. We have the ID, we have individual components, we have something on tuition, we have SRC, we have what again? Something. Then we have another attribute known as total bill or total amount. This total amount, we are not going to get the data from outside and put it there, but we are going to add the values within the other monetary attributes. So tuition, SRC, all the components that have the individual values. We're going to get all those ones, add it or sum it, and then put it into the total amount attribute. So at that point, the total amount becomes a derived attribute because its value is calculated from other attributes. I believe we are following.
Yes, madam. Madam, please, can you explain the derived again? The one you just...
Okay, the derived, what is it saying? It says attributes. It is an attribute whose value is calculated from other attributes. It is an attribute whose value is calculated from other attributes. So meaning the value that we put in that particular attribute is not a value that we collect directly from the user, but it is from, or we don't collect it from external world, but we get it from the same entity or the data that we have in that table. We calculate from other columns or other attributes. So I was using a billing table as an example. Let me see if I can open my database. Okay, but let's say we are having, how do we call it? A billing table. And inside this bill, you know that when they give you your school fees, there are several components on it. You have tuition, you have SRC dues, you have, I don't know what other things, but let me take the basic school. So basic school, we have tuition, we have PTA, we have teacher motivation, We have, and you know, all these individual items will be saved into their respective columns, or they will all be saved as attributes. So you have, when you are creating a billing table with such component that I'm mentioning, then the tuition will be in one column, your PTA will be in one column, computer levy will be in one column, motivation will be in one. So you have all this in one individual columns or individual attributes holding all those values. Then at the end, we will have another attribute, which we say total amount. So what I'm saying, this total amount is going to be what? The sum of the other attributes that we are getting. That's what we'll be saving into the total amount. So if that happens, then the total amount becomes a derived attribute because it's getting its value from the calculation of other attributes. So once there are no data in the other attributes, that derived attribute will not have any value. I don't know if you understand.
Yes.
Another example, good. Another example is if you are using a payroll. So if you are creating a payroll table, you know, on the payroll, you have your gross, no, we don't have gross income. You have your basic pay, you have maybe your SNIT, your tax, some allowances. We have all these individual components. So we can have a field like gross income. The gross income is the addition of all your allowances. So gross income becomes a derived attribute. We can have an attribute for total deduction, where we are going to add the SNIT. Maybe you have taken some loan, the loan amount, your tax, all the deduction. We are adding it and putting it in one attribute. That attribute becomes derived. Then we can also have net income, where we are going to deduct all your, deduct all your deductions from your gross and then put the remaining over there. So that is what we mean by the derived attributes. Sairam, is that okay?
Yes, madam. Thank you.
All right. Okay, so if we have, let me increase this. So if we have an attribute which is going to be a derived attribute, then this is how we indicate that one. So we don't use a solid connection, but we use what? A dotted or a dashed connection to it. So please, whatever we are doing today, we are going to use this to update your models. Are we okay? The first one that we have, you just design the model. Now we are looking at the entity relationship. So we are picking the entities that you have and then indicate your attributes on it. And in the way of indicating the attribute, if the attribute is a derived attribute, let us know. If it is a multi-valued, let us know through the modeling. The reason why we do this is when we do data models, they are communication tools. So sometimes you'll be in an organization that your work is to be doing what? To be doing the models. So you just design the models. And another person will pick your model and go and design the physical database. So you need to do it so that the person will understand. So they are communication tools and they should be understood. They are standards that we follow. So it should be understood. So if you put this thing down and you are not there, when I come to develop the physical database or the schema, then I will know that, okay, for this, we are not receiving the data from external source, but it's going to be calculated upon, or is going to be calculated from other attributes. So please, our next stage of assignment is that we are going to model our attributes. That is the entity relation. So we are going to now model our attributes right based on the topic that you are working on. So we are just improving. We are building it. And like I said, in our last face-to-face class, we pray that it happens. We are going to do that full presentation. So all the topics that we are learning now, we are going to implement it on the project that you are working on. Okay. All right, so these are some advantages and disadvantages of storing derived attributes. I mentioned that last week, that if we take something like a date, age, and we make the age a derived attribute, the main advantage is that as the time enrolls, the value will be updated. So we don't keep a static value there, but we'll be keeping dynamic value. So these are some advantages and then disadvantages that you can read. Okay, so now let's come to relationships. So we have moved from entities, we have moved from attributes, now we are on relationships. So on relationships, they said this was the association between entities that always operate in both directions, which already mentioned. And then there are some key components that we want to look, or some key terms that we have to look at, so that now you understand your modeling better and know what to do. The first is what? Participants. We mentioned it last week. Entities that participate in the relationship. So all the entities that you need. And then we have the connectivity, which describes the relationship classification. The connectivity that describes the relationship classification. And we say relationship classification, then we are talking about whether it is one-to-one, one-to-many, or many-to-many. So these are the relationship classifications. The cardinality. This expresses the minimum and the maximum number of entity occurrences associated with one related entity. So we have a diagram here. Let us look at this diagram. We have the professor, which is the entity. Another so the professor teaches the class. Now, when we come here, this notation, here we are using this a crow's foot. And the crow's foot, when it is, when we are creating relationship, we are saying that one professor teaches many classes. So that's what indicated your classification. By their connection, the connection between them, how is it classified? Is it one-to-one or is one-to-many? So that is it. And then this is one professor. One professor can teach qualities. So we are having the minimum and then the maximum value. So one and only one professor can teach 1, 2, 4 classes. Here we are not having 0. That means we cannot have a professor who is not teaching, depending on whatever relationship we are creating or whatever context we are in. If we can allow 0, then this will start from 0 instead of 1. So that is the cardinality, indicating the minimum and then the maximum value that we have. So when we come here in the professor table, the professor's name will appear only once. The minimum value is 1. The maximum value is 1. Sairam.
Madam.
Is it clear?
Yes, please.
Okay. But when we come to the classes table or the entity, the minimum value is 1, and then the maximum value is 4. So please, you are going to indicate all this for me. You have 5 entities, and the 5 entities, some are relating. So the ones that are relating, I want to see this connectivity and cardinality. All right. Okay, so now we have existence dependence. And when we say existence dependence, we are saying an entity exists in a database only when it is associated with another related entity or parents. An entity exists in a database only when it is associated with another related entity in a database. So let us take example like when we have a patient, we have patient, an entity as a patient. Sorry, we have a patient as an entity. We have doctor, then we have an appointment. The appointment entity will exist if the doctor exists, or if the doctor entity exists, and then a patient entity exists. Because it is a patient, appointment is between the patient and then the doctor. So once there is no doctor, there is no appointment. Once there is no patient, there is no appointment. So that is existence dependency or dependence. The entity, for an entity to exist, that means it's dependent, or the whatever it is depending on must first exist. And then we have the existence independence. Entity exists apart from all of its related entities. And then this is referred to as a strong entity or regular entity. So when we have patients and you have doctor, we don't need the pharmacy to exist before the patient will come. We don't need lab to exist first before patient. Or we don't even need patient to exist before we have lab. The lab as an entity can exist, even when the patient is not yet in, even when doctor is not yet in. So that is existence independence. I believe we are okay. Then this relationship that we create, in creating relationship, we have what we call the weak relationship, and then we have the strong relationship. So talking about weak relationship, when you have primary key of the related entity, or where the primary key of the related entity does not contain a primary key component of the parent entity. Weak relationship, we are creating a relationship. And whenever we create relationship, we know that we are linking two entities. And when it is when the primary key of the related entity does not contain a primary key component of the parent entity. So we have created a students table, and then we have created the department table. Now, a student is related to the department. So the student becomes the parent entity. The department becomes the related entity. In the student entity, we have the student ID as a primary key. And then we have the program or program ID. Then in the department table, the student ID, which is a primary key, is not showing in the department table, but we are linking these two tables based on the department ID. So because the person is in IT department, so when we go to the department table, we have IT there. We can link these two tables. It is linking all right, but it is not strong because it is not basing on the primary key components of the parent table. And its opposite is when we pick the primary key of the parent table, and then we use it to relate on the how do you call it, on the same key or the same component in the related table. So when I take something like the students and then billing, so in the student table I have the student ID. When I go to billing table, I have the student ID. So we are using the primary key of the parent table to link to the other key in the related table. So with this, we have built a strong relationship. Any questions? Can we move on?
Yes,
Okay.
madam.
All right. So how do we indicate that one also? When our relationship is weak, then you are not going to use a solid line, but you rather use a dashed line in indicating it. So you are not going to use a solid line, but you are going to use a dashed line to indicate it. But when it is strong, that is when we use the solid line to indicate it. All right. So, all right, so when we are indicating a weak entity in a ERG diagram, then the related entity should be indicated in two rectangles. So this is the related entity. Here we are indicating what? A weak entity or a weak entity in a ERG. So this is relating to this. Because when we come here, the dependent is having what? Employee number, and then it's having the that is the department name, no, dependent number. Then you have the dependent first name and then dependent date of birth. So here it is like we are having something on employees. So this is the employee entity, which is going to have the employee name and every information. Then we have employee dependent, or employee who is depending, sorry, a dependent of the employee. So the employee can have one or many. Here we say 0 to n. So it could be that we don't have any employee, or we can have up to several employees. Here we are indicating n, but not 1 or 2, because we don't know the number of employees we are going to have. We are not limiting it. But if we are limiting that we need only 50 employees, then that means we are going to have 0 to 50. Then with the dependents, here we are indicating the cardinality is what? 1 to 1. So that means we are only allowing one dependent for each employee. We are only allowing one dependent for each employee. All right, so this is how we indicate all those things in a ERD diagram. So first we have done a data model. Now we are doing the entity relationship diagram. By understanding the individual components within the ERD, the entity itself, the attributes, then the relationship. And inside the relationship, we have looked at the dependency, we have looked at the cardinality, and then we have looked at the connectivity. These are the things that we are looking at. The entity, the relationship. Inside the attributes, we have looked at weak attributes, derived attributes, multi-valued attributes. We have looked at what? The weak relationship, the strong relationship. We have also looked at the cardinality. We have looked at the, so get to understand all this. All right, the relationship participation. When we have relationship, how do they participate? We have the optional participation, and then we have the mandatory participation, the corresponding entity occurrence in a particular relationship. When one entity's occurrence does not require a corresponding entity occurrence in a particular relationship. And then when we have the mandate, we say one entity occurrence requires a corresponding entity occurrence in a particular relationship. So let's say we have an employee, we have employees entity, and then we have our payroll, that is the salary. Taking the mandatory participation first. The employee's record can only appear in the payroll table if that record is already in the employee table. The occurrence of an employee as an entity can only appear in the payroll table if it is already in the employee table. So in the other way around, based on this definition, I can say that the occurrence of employee in the payroll table must correspond to the existing of that occurrence in the employee table. So if you are not in the employee table, you cannot have, or you cannot appear in the payroll table. In educational settings, if you are not in the students table, you cannot have a bill, or you cannot be in the billing table. If you are not in the students table, you cannot be in the courses table, you cannot register. So that is the mandatory. Then when we take the optional, with the optional, yes, that is the other way around. So we can have a patient in the patient entity, or a patient can occur in the patient entity, but does not really need to be in the lab or in the pharmacy or in the emergency or in the department. So that is optional. Please, are we okay with this?
Yes, madam.
The guys, are you with me?
Yes, madam, we are with you.
Yes, madam, we are with you.
All right, thank you. Ima Ahache, please add your ID. Desmond Tete, please add your ID, okay? All right. Okay, so now let us understand the symbols that we use in Crowfoot, especially now that we have explained what a cardinality is. And we said the cardinality determines what? The minimum and then the maximum occurrence of an entity that will. If the entity requires zero or more occurrences, then you. If it requires one to many, so this is zero to many, meaning it can have or it may not have, optional. So zero to many, and to one, just one, like the way we saw in the professor. So the professor's record, let me put it that way, so you understand, the professor record should appear only once in that table. That is, the minimum value is one, the maximum value is one and only one. So that is this. And then when we have the 0 to 1, can be there, one record. We are using the Crowfoot notation. So let's take note of this and then apply it to our ERD diagram as we are going to upgrade your models to ERD diagrams. So we'll be checking all this. I'll be checking it. All right. So we have some examples here. So this is 1 to 1, and then this is 0 to many. So for courses, every course should appear once. And then assigning classes, it could be that we don't even have any class for that particular course for that semester, or we can have more than one. So that is it. And then we have the 1 to 1 here. Okay, so the next thing we are looking at is what we call the relationship degree. The relationship degree. This indicates the number of entities or participants associated with a relationship. And then we have the unary relationship, we have the binary relationship, and then we have the ternary relationship. And as we know, when we say unary is 1, binary is 2, and then ternary is 3. So if you are creating relationships and then you have only one entity, only one entity related to the other one, then you are creating a unary. When you have 2, then we have the binary. When you have 3, then you have the ternary. So as we have here the entity is on its own. So it's not really, it's relating to itself. So that's the unary. We have the binary when we have 2. So what you brought last week, most of you brought the binary. And I saw few ternary in there. Now when we come here, this is 4. So you may be asking, so if it is 4 2, how do we call it? So if it is 4, we are tracing 1, 2, 3. I believe you can see my pointer. Do you see my mouse?
Madam.
Yes,
Yes, please.
Okay. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then 1, 2, 3. So each of them is giving us, we can trace it from different angles and have our ternary. So please look at your diagrams, look at your entities, and then see the ones that should be binary, the one that should be unary, the one that should be ternary, and then do it that way. I think there was one group that I commented on. They have, is it the health? The hospital is there, the patient, no, the doctor is there, the patient is there, the appointment is there, the pharmacy or something is there. But the patient was not linking to the pharmacy. So those of you who are having all those issues, please redraw do the correction in the ERT. So for the models, I passed some comments that you should do the updates. So do that. And then now let's do the ERT and then do it well, now that we understand it. Okay. All right, so all this is giving us some examples. So if you are developing a ERD, what do we look at? Developing an ER diagram or entity relationship diagram. So you create a detailed narrative of the organization's description of operations. You first have to know how they operate, what processes are involved. Then you identify the business rules. We have already mentioned business rules. You identify your business rules based on the description. You identify your main entities, and we have also learned how to identify your entities. We say all the nouns are entities. Then you all the actions are relationships. So you identify all those things. Then you develop the initial ERD. You identify the attributes and then your primary keys that adequately describe the entity. Then finally, you revise and then you review. Everything. Examples of how the ERD can be drawn or should be drawn. Okay. Now there are some few conflicts in database design or challenges in database design. So database design challenges, conflicting goals. One, the database design must conform to design standards. Database design. At this time, we are not doing implementation. We are doing the design. It must conform with design standards. That is why the models that we submitted last week, we passed some comments on it that go and then update it. The same way that the ERG that you'll be drawing to must also follow everything that we have learned. Because like I said, they are what? Standards that we follow globally. And they serve as communication tools. So when you are designing it, you have to make sure that it conforms to the standard. Else you mislead the next stage of the work, especially if you are not the same person doing the next stage, that is implementing it. You are going to mislead the person. If you are not the same person who will be designing the interface of getting data into the database, you are going to mislead. Because the one designing the UI will also need your design to know that these fields have to provide text boxes so that data will be captured. Okay, this is a derived field. So that one doesn't need a text box. If you don't indicate the derived, the multi-value, and all those things, if the UI designer takes your model, you mislead the person. So it should conform to the standards based on what we are learning. Then the need for high processing speed may limit the number and complexity of logically desirable relationships. Sometimes because we want the database to work fast, or we need the speed, the performance, and because we want a high performance. So we don't have to make it too complex. For example, we saw some model that was linking about, is it 6 or 5 entities when we're looking at the ternary. Okay, right here. So if this is linking to this and linking to that, and this also linking to this, here we are creating a whole of complexity. This is a design that you have done. whoever is creating the physical database, we also have to make sure that this table will link to this, that one will link to that, and that. And that is going to create complexity. And once your system is complex, it go against the performance. So you make sure that your relationships are not too complex. And then the third challenge that we have to look at, the need for maximum information generation may lead to loss of clean design structures and high transaction speed. The need for maximum information generation. And so if you are generating too much information into a particular entity or one particular database relation, then that is also going to affect our design. So the design will have to be complex in order to meet that maximum information that we need. So we have to reduce the information, or at least break it down, so that our design will become nicer. Very soon, or in the future, we'll be looking at normalization and then denormalization. And that will help us to understand why we don't need maximum information or too much information in one particular relation. All right. Okay, so this brings us to the end of the theoretical aspect. So let's look at the practical aspect and then complete something that we have not yet done. Okay, I'm switching to my database. We have created a database, all right. And, or let's say we have installed the platform. And we've installed a database platform, and we have created some database and all that. But as we speak, our database has no password. Or have we done that? Have we created a password authentication?
No, madam.
All right. So now when you open, it just opens the database for you, it takes you to the database straight. Okay, and that's not how it's supposed to be, because data is an asset, and a very important one, a very important asset of every organization, and must be protected very well. So after installing the platform, we have to configure it so that it will authenticate all the users that come in. Are you seeing my screen now? Not the slide. I've switched.
No,
No,
please, we
madam, we
can only
can't see
see
you.
the slide.
Okay, just a minute. Winner, please give me your full name and your student ID.
Madam, please, the full name is Elvis Judula Jage.
Yes, put it on your status. So let's
Student ID 08.
so
Okay.
log in with it so that it
Master,
shows
why
on
you dey mention the thing?
let it show on your account so you don't mention it. Is it showing now? Is it showing?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we created a database. We installed the platform and then we have looked at some few things around it. So now we're going to configure our database so that it will accept or it will authenticate the users that comes in. So we go to configuration. In this configuration, we are configuring two things. We have mentioned the database, and we've also mentioned the database management system. And I explained that there are two things. So the database is what? The data structure that stores the data on a physical device, that's the memory. And then we use the DBMS to access that database or to manage that database. So we have to configure the two. So first, we start by configuring the DBMS. Do I have some people with their laptops who are trying it?
Yes.
Okay. So after you have started your control panel, as you are seeing on the page, so this is our control panel. So we go to the Apache side, then we have the config, and this is the DBMS, that is the PHP my admin. So we're going to configure that one. When you click on it, it will open it in a test notepad for you. That's a test document. Are we there? Sairam, are you doing it?
Yes, please.
Okay. So this is the authentication. This is where we do the authentication. So now there are few parameters that will be changing over here. Yours will not be as many as mine, because mine I have duplicated some of the lines and then commented them. Okay. So the first line that you see after the heading authentication is the authentication type. So here we are changing the authentication type. When you install it at default, it shows as config. But now we don't need config, we are changing it to cookie. What is a cookie? We've been using websites, web pages here and there, and then we see cookie. This site uses cookies. So accept or decline. What's a cookie and what is it used for? What is a cookie as we've been seeing in web pages? Desmond, Edu. Desmond, what's a cookie? Can you hear me, please? Adams.
Madam,
So you can hear me. So what is a cookie? As we've been seeing it on websites, what does it mean?
Madam, cookie means how many websites you visited.
Okay. It doesn't actually mean how many websites you visited, but you are close. Alex.
Madam,
Yes.
Madam, so cookie is basically a web technology that enables a website to collect like user information or user data based on like frequent visitation to the website.
Good. So it's a technology. It tracks the user on the web page and all your activities on the web page, and it can collect information about you. So if you are designing a database, then we need to set it to a cookie so that we can track the users, whoever uses that database, whoever accesses, and then the activities that the person performs. So that is why we are moving it from config to a cookie. So please change your value to cookie. Make sure you don't overwrite anything there. And just change the value. It should still be within the quotation to cookie. Are we done? Those who are trying it, are you done?
Yes, please.
Good.
Madam,
And the next parameter is the user. Who is the user? At this point, we are creating the base user. So later in the system, if you want to create other users, you can add other users. But in the configuration here, it is the main user. That is what we call the root user. So here we have the default one, which is the root. So we don't change it. You can decide to change, but when you change it, whenever you are going, you use that username. So this user here is the username. All right, so here we reserve the root user. The reason why we are reserving this is what the system has created for you as the main admin. And there are several functionalities assigned to this. So once you change this from root to any other thing, the system doesn't know the new username that you have created. So no functionality has been assigned to that person. Therefore, you'll be logged out. And even if you are able to use that one to create to log in, you don't have access, you don't have functionalities to perform. So that is why for the meantime or initially, you have to maintain the root because that serves as the admin user for you. Then we move to the next, which is the password. So with the password, you will have to put your password there. So whatever password you want to use, please put it there. The extension is MySQL. We are not changing that one. Then the next line that you'll be seeing is the password configuration. So the question is there, allow no password. Here it is saying that what? You are allowing no password. And over there, yours is what? True. Meaning yes. When there is no password, still go ahead and allow. That was when there was no password. Now, change it to false. Are you done? If you are done, you can go and save. You can save it. So we just go and save. Not save as save. So we're moving to the next config. So here we have configured the DBMS. Now let's configure the database itself. So with the database, that is the MySQL. So when we come here, we go to config, and the configuration file for the database is mine.ini. So we open that one. Can I move on? All right. So
Yes, ma'am.
we've opened that. Then we move down small, just move down small. So you see this, my SQLD. SQLD. If you are of the D, and then create a space. If you have created a space, then you type this SQL dash grants dash table. Just a minute, I wanted to increase the font for you. Okay, so right under this SQLD, if you have been seen it, then right under that, then you type keep hyphen grants hyphen tables. That means what? Keep granting free password. Okay. There are a few things that, though that is not part of your course, that is when you over here. Where we did the, you see this port number. That is it uses a port number. Applications that you might be using, they are using the same port number. So if it happens that you have installed some of those applications, maybe you have installed some database application, which is not XAMPP. You know, we have WAMP, we have LAMP, and all those things. We have MAMP too. So maybe you have installed any of them or any database application, and you have started now, and that one is already working. It is using, or it will be using the port number, which is the 3306. So if it happens that that one is already running, and you now come to start your SAM, when you click on the start button to start it, it will tell you, give you some indication that, sorry, the port is blocked. Either it is used by another application or whatever. So if that happens, then you should see that this port has been blocked. So you can come here to the configuration, then you change this port. But when you are changing it, please, you cannot change the first 3 characters. You can only change the last one. So you change it, you save it, then you go and restart your server or your service, and then that will work for you. Okay, so now we have done this. If you are done, please save it, and then you can close it. Okay, so now launch your browser into your database and see whether you are being authenticated. If it works, you can put in your username and then password. But the best thing is you can first restart your services. But sometimes it will, depending on your execution, it will still be holding it in memory. So please restart your services and then go and open the admin page to see whether it will request for the username and the password. Then you enter it. All right.
Madam.
Yes, what's the problem?
Please, my Apache is not on in again. It's not starting.
The Apache is not starting.
Yes, please.
Then go and check your configuration. Maybe you have typed something wrong, so please check.
And I just change the cookie, the password, and the true to false. Hello? 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 Oh,
Okay, so hello, back. Jairam. Hello.
Hello, madam.
How far have you done it?
Yes, but it's not working. It has become, the admins have become blur.
The admins.
Yes, please. After starting it.
After starting what?
The Apache and the MySQL.
Did you close it? Close it, just close it and then restart it.
Okay.
Is it working for somebody?
Yes.
Who is that? Steven?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And who else? Just close your control panel and then restart it.
Madam,
Yes.
please, the my SQL is working, but the Apache is not coming. But the things that I changed there is just the cookie that you said we should change. I maintain the root and I change the password. Then the MySQL then I change the true to false, but still it's not on it.
Did you close the control panel to start it again?
Yes, please.
Have you started any other application on your computer? Because one thing about Apache is also running on a different port. Apache is also running on a different port, that is port 80. And we have other several applications that also run on port 80. Most of the web applications that we have, they run on port 80. So if it happens that that application is also trying to run or it was starting, and now you stop this, when you stop this, you are giving that one the chance to start. So if that one has started, the port is blocked. So it won't work.
Oh, okay.
So if you have some applications that has started, some of them, there are some that sometimes you make it start on its own. So if that happens, it's even difficult for you to know which one it is. George,
Hello, ma.
how far? Were you trying it?
Yes, please, but I'm encountering some challenges. My
What
Apache
is it?
has been disabled. Before, I used to have, like some past week, I used to have laptop crisis. So I had to restart the application all over. But I followed the steps that we changed the port and all that. But my Apache is grayed out. And then but my SQL is fine. When I click on it, it gives me can't reach this page. That's the feedback I get.
From the Apache?
No, not the
Is it
Apache, MySQL. The Apache is grayed out. I can send a screenshot if you don't mind.
but as my SQ started?
It's showing error. Can't reach this page. Can't reach this page. When I refresh, it's still the same.
Close it entirely and then start it again. For
Sure.
those of you who are using the Apache, if the Apache is not starting, what we are doing now, we don't even need Apache. Apache is for when we are developing a web. But here we are not using web. The Apache is for web hosting. So when we are developing some web pages. Brown,
Madam, hello. Hello? Madam?
I'm asking whether you were trying it. Were you trying it?
Yes, but the MySQL is working, but the Apache is giving me error.
Were you the one who complained?
Yes, please.
Uh-huh. But what I'm saying is, even for now, we don't need the Apache. We need just the MySQL. So just go to the admin to see if you can have the interface
Okay.
to log in. Sairam, are you back?
Yes, madam, please. When I entered the Apache, it gave me the username and the password, which I entered, but it was giving me some error. So I just closed it to go back again and see whether I could get it right.
It's giving you the authentication page now.
Yes, please.
So if it's giving you the authentication page, that means it has worked. So check the password that you put there. Check the password well.
Okay.
But did you reopen the admin page, or it was just the old one that you were having there that you are still using?
No, please, I reopened it.
So you click on the admin and then it reloaded the page for you afresh.
Yes, please. When I clicked on the Apache, it reloaded the page for me, but the MySQL is not active. So I was just closing to go and restart and see if it will
Okay.
work.
Okay. So close the entire XAMPP and then
Okay.
open it again.
Okay. Thank you.
Justice, your hand is up.
Yeah, hello, madam.
Yeah.
Hello. Yeah, so last week, the first week, I told that was my first class joining you guys. So,
In fact, your
um,
voice is too heavy. Hello, your voice is too heavy. I can hardly hear you.
hello, can you hear me, please? Hello,
Yeah.
can you hear me now, please?
So your
Yeah.
voice is very heavy. Your voice is very heavy.
And the voice is too heavy. We can't hear you. So lighten it
Exactly.
small.
Okay. Hello.
We are listening. Yeah, we are listening.
So last week, during the face to face, I said that was my first class. So from the beginning, I don't know what's going on, but I was just an isolate. So if I can know what we are doing out there, I mean, from the basics, then I can also try and catch up. Hello.
Then you have to get the recordings.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay. So talk to the cross rep. I don't know how you get the recordings for you, but they record every class.
Okay.
So you can watch the videos too. Otherwise, this is the feature. So please get the recordings and then to play them
Oh.
to help you. All right.
Madam,
Noble.
still this site can be reached after tapping on the admin on the MySQL.
Noble, I'm listening.
Yeah, please, I said after tapping on the admin for the SQL, the browser is just showing it can be reached.
The browser is telling you it cannot be reached.
Yeah, this site can be reached.
But as your service started,
Yes, that's for the MySQL is working, but the Apache is not working.
The Apache is not working. For yours, I'm thinking there's another some application that has started which is running the Apache.
So by close all.
You close all the application. If
Yes,
it's a
please.
background service, you won't know. If it's a background service, you won't know. All right. So we'll have to end our class here. But I want to see those who have gotten it done. Collins, how far? We'll have to end our class. When we finish, you restart, just restart the entire computer. It could be that there's some background service running
Okay.
that you. And sometimes, do you know what happens? We end up double clicking maybe the exam. When you are starting the exam, you have click and click and click. So if you click it multiple times, all those processes are running. So what you can do is you can go to the control or delete and then close, check to see if you have some Apache services there. Then you end all of them. Then you restart it. Do you get it? And sometimes it could be that when you're starting the control panel, you have clicked it more than once. So all those processes are running under at the background. So when we finish with the class, you can restart your computer or you go to control or delete to check your processes, the background processes that are running to see if you see the Apache services there. Then you close all of them and then you restart it. Okay, so far I think I've gotten 2 people whose own is working and it's too small for me. If I can get at least about 5, I should have more than half of the class. But I don't know if you are all trying it.
Yes, madam. Please, mine is working and I'm using MAMP. And I think that most of the settings is the default setting for the MAP. So I didn't really go through any stress.
Okay, so that's for Francis. And then Alex one is working. Alex, you say yours is working, right? Was it Alex? No, Stephen.
It's Steven.
Okay, so Stephen's one is working. And who else? Is there any other person who has gotten it working? Please let us know. But the next question is, are you even trying it at all? That is the question. Sairam, would you mind sharing your screen? Let's see what you are having there.
Okay.
Since you are the princess of the land, we have to pamper you. You are the first lady of the class, so the only lady among the men. So let us pamper you. So let's see what you have.
Okay. Madam, please, I think you have to stop sharing so that I'll share.
Yes. So I've stopped mine. Okay. So where is your thumb? And when you start Apache 2?
Okay. So this is the
The Apache.
Apache. Yes, please. So when I start, it becomes blur. I can't, and then
No, but you
there.
have rather stopped it too. You have rather stop it.
Okay.
So start it, let's see. and then start the MySQL. Just click it only once.
Okay.
So wait a while, let's see. Did you click it again?
No, please.
Okay, so it's been terminating by itself. MySQL shutdown expected. This may be due to a block port. Okay, so do you know what?
No,
Close,
please.
go to the, so quit.
Okay.
Okay. So close it and then even close the windows that you have opened. Now I was just talking about the, okay. So you can refresh your screen and start the example again. But before that, let
Okay.
me look at, okay, so start the example again, then let's look at your configuration.
Okay.
Where are you starting it from? You have installed it on your PC, right?
Yes, please. But I'm not able to access it on the desktop, so I go to
Oh, just just open any folder or go to my computer. Yeah, my computer or this device, how you see it.
okay.
And so go to your local drive. The last time I showed you how to create a shortcut. So go to drive C. Is that your local drive, drive C?
Yes, please.
So open it. Okay, you didn't install it to the right place. You should install to the drive C. If you don't install it to the drive C, to be giving you problems whenever you do some updates.
Okay.
So normally, how do you open? Where do you? But you should install it to drive C. Because the configuration files, in there, most of them are pointing to your local drive. So if you install it to a different place, then they will not be getting the path.
Okay.
But before this, so how are you starting it? Where do you go?
I come here,
Mm-hmm.
then I search it here.
Okay. Right
Yeah.
click on it. Let's see if we can trace the path. So go to open file location. Where is it located? It's stored into programs. It's stored. I don't
And I think
get
it's a drive C program. Yeah,
you. Pardon?
drive C program.
You said drive C as that one.
The where it has been installed is drive C program. It's drive C. Then
It
you
shouldn't store. It should store the XAMPP folder itself. The entire XAMPP folder should be on drive C directly. It shouldn't store into programs.
oh, okay.
It has to store directly on the drive C. So we should have the entire XAMPP folder on the drive C. So let's move back. Click on the Click on the programs from the menu, the file menu. Click on the programs.
Madam, please, I don't get it.
From the URL at the top, where you have the program data, Microsoft something at the top. Click on the programs at the far end where you have the programs close to the exam.
Okay.
No, that wasn't you. That wasn't what you did. Okay. So you have closed the control panel. So let's move this whole folder to the drive C directly.
Okay.
So you can either cut or just make a copy of it. The way you are dragging it, are you sure you can put it at the right place? You can just, have you copied?
Yes, please.
So go to the drive C. Okay, so open it. And then paste it here. Or you didn't copy it?
I think so. I copied it before, but I'm coming. I'll copy it again.
Open the programs file over here, let's see, because it appears it's saved into programs. That's why we're seeing it. So I don't know whether it was this same program file.
Yeah.
So it's not even in this program file. Search for it again.
Okay.
Then when you see it, move it directly onto the drive C.
Okay.
Then you go to programs. No. Go to the top programs. So that we can get. So this is the entire exam folder. So copy it, right click, and let's see that you have copied. Okay. Then go to your local drive. And then paste it here. Paste at the top. Okay. Now I saw that the previous one is running. So go to the taskbar and then let's close that one. You see that you have opened it severally. Some of you, this is what you do, then you'll be having problems. Okay, we've closed it. So now open this folder. Open the exam folder from here. Then we have the exam control panel. Your installation didn't go through well because we should have multiple files, multiple folders. the Apache folder, the configuration folder, and all those things must come, which are not there.
Okay. Okay. Please, I'll work on it after the class.
Did you just start this?
Yes, please.
So start the MySQL 2, let's see.
Okay.
Okay. So please just do a new installation.
Okay.
Okay. Do a new
Okay.
installation. When we finish, we can go through the configuration. If you have forgotten something, you can call me. I'll guide you.
Okay.
Then we do a new configuration.
Okay.
Do that.
Thank
Then when you
you.
are installing, please make sure it installed directly onto the drive C.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So because of our time, we'll end it here for today. So my next assignment is now we are drawing the ERD. We are drawing the ERDs for all the entities and the relationships that we have in there. Make sure you indicate the appropriate cardinality, you indicate your connectivities, you indicate the right relationship based on the approved standards. It should conform to the approved standards as we have learned. Thank you so much for your time. Have a wonderful weekend. And those of you who are having issue, please take your time and then work on it. Since you have the steps, you can just follow it to do it. Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you too.
Thank you. You're welcome. Bye.
Okay. But we are not meeting next week, right?
Yes.
Is it because of that? We are meeting now?
Yes. No, it's an Easter break.
Oh, okay. Me, I've forgotten the Easter.
It's an Easter break, but it's even indicated on the academic calendar. If you have the calendar, it's indicated on it.
Oh, okay.
So please,
Okay.
now you have a long week. Make sure you do the assignment and then submit. So we'll provide the folder online so that you submit it over there, so that we can look at it before we meet for the next session. All right, thank you. And then if there is any, I'll be updating the page, so you can also visit the page. Right now, as I mentioned, I've already put the additional material there. So now you have all the slides. All the slides are there now. So if any other information that you will need, we'll put it there. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.